The first topic, we do want to cover some NHL news. We're going to talk a little bit about the Samuel Montembeault extension. Now, the extension itself isn't the most exciting thing in the world, but it does feed into a bigger conversation that we could have about the Montreal Canadiens, especially because Mr. Sam McGilligan is a lifelong, God bless him, a lifelong Montreal Canadiens fan from the greater Toronto area. So
says the man who has seen one playoff series win since GTA 5 came out.
I just got the Lord to bless you, and you come back with how awful,
vicious hatred,
how awful the city of Toronto is at sports. Anyway, except the 2019 Raptors, that's the saving grace. Anyway, so the Montreal Canadiens. I mean, you're the Canadiens guy. You've seen Sam Montembeault for a few years.
It's fine.
All right,
it's fine. Like, it's a serviceable extension. I don't think it's one of those, like, I love the whole like Went Hughes like win meme that's going around every time he does something, because I do like him as a GM, but it's not really like it's not a crazy move. You have goalies and you signed one for a few years to be a stopgap until we're supposed to be back regular playoff team, and then at that point you either hope he's evolved into an actual like goalie you want to sit there and be like, I rely on this dude in the playoffs,
right?
Or you have someone else. I mean, the Habs took at least 17 goalies in the draft last year, from what I understand.
Something like
this
that.
Is a confirmed fact, like that, by the way.
Right.
A confirmed fact. Rumor has it was all 200 something picks.
They made a lot of trades last year.
So like, this wouldn't happen if they were, or maybe it would. I can't speak that much into the inside process, but like, I don't think you do something like that if you're sitting there going like, Sam Montembeault is the goalie of the Canadiens' future. It's mostly just like a smart investment that might pay itself off, and it has very little risk. So it's still a win, but it's not like this crazy franchise changing move. It's just like, that's just, that's what you want an NHL general manager to do. If you're like concerned that they can't even make those moves, you really don't want him as your general manager.
Yeah.
And you kind of want to get someone else in there.
Yeah. I mean, like $3 million these days doesn't really buy you a lot. And he's like, I think the evidence is there that he's these days like league average in net, and he's on a bad team, which
is a good thing.
Sure, $3 million bucks.
And there's a lot of teams that take a lot of shots.
Yeah,
that look pretty good against the Montreal Canadiens. So he stops quite a few of them.
Yes,
good for him.
That's true. So being a Habs guy, they've got 3 goalies on purpose. What happens next? Because they locked up the one guy. Caden Primo's still kind of hanging around, and there's Jake Allen who's still signed.
If goalies are voodoo and some high-end prospects end up fizzling out just to randomly bounce back later on, so maybe you keep Primo around just to see what's up with that, and worst comes to worst, you want to go on a playoff run with, actually I genuinely don't even remember where Laval is in the standings right now.
I don't know. I think they're doing
find that out really quickly before I continue to
let me just Google the AHL standings.
If Allen's worth something at the deadline to a team, you do it. I mean, I can't believe we got the years out of Jake Allen we did to begin with. And when we acquired him, I don't know of a soul who was like, yeah, that's a guy we're going to have for years around. Yeah.
So Laval is 5-15.
So it'll be close, but if they get
it, they've given up 85 goals in 20 games. So there's that. They're on a at least 5-game losing streak.
So they're about as good as the real Habs. I see.
You said that. Yes, I did.
It's a happy time to be a
Go Leafs go
fan of hockey.
Hey, it's okay. I mean, now I guess we can get into the bigger topic here of the direction of the Montreal Canadiens. We put out this. I don't know. This just makes me laugh. Last week on the show, we went over a bit about Juraj Slafkovsky. I thought we were quite complimentary to him.
I thought we were fair
and very fair. But it seems like everybody who decided to respond directly felt like we were like just burying the guy. I don't know.
I mean, I will say this, like the discussion around Slafkovsky and Reinbacher both have been so wild that like,
I know.
They feel like there are some people who have just done unbelievably like cringy things online on like both sides. It's just like, it's like, it's so extreme. And
cringe
like,
on the internet?
Flags on the ground and like people stomping their foot like, no, you're wrong. And it's like, all right, fine. Like,
no.
do I stand by what I said last week on Slavkovsky? Yes, but that's because there was like a positive outlook of like, yeah, he could still be like a good player. Like, is he gonna be like a superstar like you want to take first overall? I'm not betting yes, but like, I'm a Habs fan. I want that to happen.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sitting here like, yeah, I want to be miserable about my hockey team because I enjoy it.
I want you to be miserable, Sam.
I would have been a Toronto Maple Leaf. AJ, you didn't even let me finish this.
Of course I didn't.
But yeah, I mean, like, I think it's a little bit out of control. And I think, again, like, AJ, you and I were watching the Montreal Canadiens today in preparation for this episode. And like,
it's a team of guys.
Well, yeah. And with Slavkovsky specifically with him, like, everything we were talking about last week is absolutely true. Like, when he keeps things simple and dials it down and just uses his body, protects pucks, keeps it simple, he's fine. Like, he's an NHL player.
Absolutely.
It's just, the expectations are relatively high. But anyway, we'll see where he ends up in a few years. But
I did read some of those comments that were talking about, like, that specifically mentioned the Slavkovsky Cooley thing.
Yeah.
And like, I get Slavkovsky has scored a few points lately, guys. Was this after the stream? I think the one
something like that
after I think it was Wednesday, Thursday. I don't know. There was a game where Slavkovsky just like backhanded a puck up along the boards. And then I think it was Dvorak won a foot race against a Columbus player who fell. And then he shot it. And then the rebound bounced in front of the net and Caulfield did his thing. And everyone was like, what a pass by Slavkovsky. And I was like, he just backhanded it up the ice for a 50-50 foot race. He did not know that was going to how the play goes out, because that's not how hockey works. And that's not how hockey players think.
It's funny, the longer you do the whole I'm going to watch hockey a lot thing from like all over the world, the more you realize that it's kind of like, whose line is it anyway? Where like, no matter any time of the game, any game of the season, who's playing where, like, sometimes the rules are just made up and points just do not matter.
Yeah,
like,
sometimes just shit happens.
Yeah.
And like, keep in mind, we're talking about the same player who who got first overall status because of a few lucky bounces at the Olympics and like a point shot, or like a wrist shot from the perimeter, like going in the net, and like plays like that. Like,
yeah,
we're talking about this type of player making that play. It's okay that he's trending the way that he let's hold on. Well, maybe I won't say it's okay, but like, he's trending fine. The increase in production is a bit fortunate, and he's also created some of it as well. Like, I'm not going to like say it's all luck and stuff like that. Like, he's doing some things and has earned some points, but like, I'm not going to sit here and think that it's going to continue to just like, all right, he's going to score like 0.75 points per game till the end of the season.
Right.
Nor do I sit there and look at Logan Cooley, who is like unbelievably skilled and unbelievably mobile, super shifty, handling NHL pressure really well. Like, people are talking about his point production on the year and things like that. And it's not perfect, but 2 weeks ago, Slavkovsky was in the same, like, all you need is a couple good bounces for Cooley and the argument would swing in our favor. But I wouldn't rely on the point side of it to be like, yeah, I still like Cooley more. I'd look at what Cooley's doing on the ice and go, yeah, in 3 years, that dude's going to be a monster.
Yeah.
And it's not about like who scored the lucky bounce goal last week. It's about like, what do I want in 5 years? I want the dude who's going to dangle the pants off of everybody who gets in his way.
Sometimes you get gimmies, and that's a point on the board. Sometimes you work really, really hard and get nothing for it.